Hi, and welcome to the final episode of the Silver Lining series. Wild. Throughout every single one of these Silver Lining series, we have discussed the what's, whys, and how to's of wellness. What it means to feel well, what it takes to feel well, why we want to put our energy into feeling well, and how to make the changes we need to feel well. So, for this final episode, I want to talk about how we keep feeling well. And the thing is, we have to keep ourselves accountable if we want to make positive, sustainable change. Ready? One, two, three, eye roll. How frustrating is it when you're lamenting to a friend or a coworker about how you're just not feeling your best and you're struggling to make time for certain things? And they respond with, you just have to hold yourself accountable. As if change is easy and that's reassuring to hear. Try again. And I'll be the first to call myself out. I have given countless talks and have had many conversations about accountability and how to make sustainable behavioral changes. And even though there may be great tools woven into those talks and conversations, I totally understand how it can feel oversimplified and angering to hear. Because knowing what to do is one thing, doing it is another, and maintaining it is another. And the reality is that none of it's easy. We all find ourselves too busy for this and with no time for that, frustrated with knowing what we'd want to do, but not being able to put it into practice. Been there. I know we can all relate. Maybe you're like, that is me right now. I hear you, I see you, I feel you. At the beginning of this series, we simplified the definition of wellness and said to feel well is to feel good. So it only seems appropriate that at the end of this series, we talk about how to hold ourselves accountable to doing the things that will make us feel good. But we forget that doing those things does not mean doing all of the things, especially not all at once. So, how do we simplify accountability in the least eye rolly way possible? Accountability is created through the promises you keep with yourself. Or accountability is showing up for yourself. Or accountability is choosing to put yourself first. I'm not totally sure I accomplished the mission. We could probably all roll our eyes at each one of those definitions, I'm sure. So to be continued on making it non-eye rollable. But I tried. The thing is that whether it's eye rollable or not, that's the truth. Accountability, in relation to wellness, is about putting yourself first. And although it sounds simple, I know that's a big ask. Many of us are caretakers by nature, either personally or professionally or both. So putting ourselves first seems illogical and irrational, and we poo-poo it like it's an impossible idea that could never happen. Again, I hear you, but stay with me. If the key to feeling well is feeling good, the key to feeling good is doing right by yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, professionally, and everything in between. And again, not all at once. Trying to do it all at once leads to feeling overwhelmed and not being able to meet the unrealistic expectations we set for ourselves, which leads to guilt and shame and self-judgment, the opposite of feeling well. So we can chase this idea of wellness for forever. We can constantly set unrealistic goals and make promises to ourselves that we don't keep. But we won't feel well until we are doing the things that make our idea of wellness a reality. And what makes me feel well and what makes you feel well can be very different things. For instance, my best friend loves to run, says it gives her this runner's high. I run for 5 minutes and get shin splints and am miserable for a week. But I love to play tennis and do yoga for movement. She does not. So different strokes for different folks. But in keeping with this goal of simplification, accountability boils down to asking yourself two questions and seeing if you can answer them. What is it that I need right now, and how can I give it to myself? Too often do we know what would help us to feel better or to feel well, but we forget to even ask ourselves in the first place. Asking keeps us accountable. Reflecting keeps us in tune with ourselves, our needs, and our wants. And answering those questions in an actionable way keeps us well. Over the past 9 Silver Lining series, we have covered tons of topics related to well-being, health, and happiness. I hope some of them left an impression. What I really hope is that these videos made you smile, encouraged you to reflect, maybe helped you change some of your habits for the better, And most of all, I hope they helped you feel seen, heard, connected, and less alone. Because the reality is, we will all be on this wellness journey for our entire lives, and it's not an easy one. But if we can remind ourselves and remind each other that it just takes one choice to change the trajectory of your day, week, month, life, I know, I roll away. But give yourself permission to feel good, to feel well. So thank you all for being here from the bottom of my heart, and see you soon.